What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Now, this latest headline was a bit curious, and only because the people who were running with it got it so wrong. The quote coming from Giancarlo Esposito in here recently about him returning to shoot on Captain America Brave New World was actually taken out of context, as what he was truly referring to was returning to D23 to do more promotion. That's coming up in a couple of days, which basically is a confirmation that they're going to cover Captain America at that presentation. And as I said, the night before the event, we'll go ahead and run a what to expect and let any last minute reports get in there. But it was the same sentiment with the erroneous re-reporting of this headline over the last couple of days that's still lingering from when we heard earlier last month that in a reaction to some test screenings, the movie was still said to be a mess. And while I do think that they have a chance of pulling this film out, we'll talk about what we already know, how far the reshoots are going to go with this film, I would like to offer a measured perspective based on facts and previous experience with Marvel Studios as to why I think this film is in trouble no matter what they do with the reshoots because of what we've already seen from Marvel. We're breaking it all down, the latest, again, fake headline that Giancarlo Esposito is returning for more reshoots, and separate the fact from fiction for what's truly going on with Captain America, the reshoots, and whether or not Marvel Studios is going to be able to pull this one out. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could, reminder to hit the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do, so if that sort of thing's for you, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is for What If's finale, coming up in a month or two. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so first up, and to reiterate from the prologue, there was a new quote from Giancarlo Esposito that, when edited in a clip that was only 10 seconds long and without the preamble that came before it, made it sound like he was talking about returning to the set of Captain America Brave New World, when really what he was talking about was being at the Brazil D23 coming up in a couple days and returning to promote the film. That's number one. Number two, and through that same prism, there have been a ton, and I mean a ton, of Twitter and Instagram accounts recently saying whatever they want and then just attributing them to industry insiders. Thusly, I was seeing tonight on Twitter that Daniel RPK was calling out a couple of accounts for doing just this, taking his latest scoop that Sony is developing an Agent Venom and then adding a bunch of details in there and attributing them to Daniel RPK. It's even worse on Facebook, where I've seen accounts recently just write whatever they want and say it's confirmed. This is worse than it ever was with Avengers Endgame, and that's why two things. For those of you who might not be familiar with the channel, I always cite where we do our reporting from and remind you exactly which is which, separate giving reverence to, say, Daniel RPK or My Time to Shine Hello based on their track records. There's others as well, like the editorial, The Cosmic Circus, etc. And then, hey, this is something random posted to 4chan as a plot leak, leave it in grain of salt territory. This is completely different. These social media accounts are just absolutely making stuff up, and I think it's gotten harder than ever to really tell what's going on. It's made my job a little bit harder, but then again, that's what you guys have me for. I would just also remind you to stay skeptical when you see this stuff online, like what happened with this headline. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that extensive reshoots aren't actually happening for Captain America. In fact, they're very extensive. This budget has reportedly almost hit $350 million, and they're said to maybe be reshooting on this film right up until like 2 weeks before it comes out. And there were some internal test screenings. We covered that news here at the channel, and if you missed it, people came out and said that they didn't think it was great. There was actually someone who posted to Reddit, even though he probably would have signed an NDA saying he wouldn't do that. What I reminded you guys at the time is that even if it was two theaters full of people who all felt the same way, that is an extremely small sample size of people to react to a movie. Still, I would not say that Captain America is in the clear, or rather, it's pretty easy to see the doom and gloom on the horizon for this film, and it's not based on the false reporting, just based on Marvel's track record when they do things like this. There have been two movies that have been said to be basically rewritten and so many times that it was an absolute joke. The first one was Multiverse of Madness, where Elizabeth Olsen herself admitted that she just stopped reading drafts, and America Chavez came out to defend Michael Waldron's writing and saying that Marvel did at least 20 to 22 re-edits of that while they were filming. When you get to that many rewrites, it is impossible to expect that the singular voice that was crafting the narrative for the story can still get his voice through. When you do that sort of art and by committee, with the experience that Marvel Studios has given us, i.e. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where you could tell Jeff Loveness actually wrote a good film, but after the homogenization of all the ideas, because you have too many cooks in the kitchen, as it's referred to, what you end up getting is something that's basically a hollow shell and disconnected. That's what led to editing errors in Ant-Man, and that's why some of the dialogue from Paul Rudd's Ant-Man in the third act about being a man of your word and your word being your bond made no sense, because the original dialogue that was referring to was edited out. That leads to extremely subpar films. It's actually a miracle that Multiverse of Madness is as good as it is, and a testament to Michael Waldron's writing, that it could withstand that many rewrites and still be the great film that I think that it is. And in retrospect, I actually like that movie the more that I watch it. Jeff Loveness got done absolutely dirty on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with as much as that thing was edited down. And now we get to Captain America: Brave New World, which maybe wasn't that great of a film to begin with, and was reportedly in its first state a huge mess with lackluster action sequences and a really confusing plot. We also know that they had members like WWE star Seth Rollins as one of the Serpent Society, and they decided to redo all that. And there's nothing wrong with doing reshoots and changing a film. In fact, we actually want Marvel to put more effort in and spend as much money as it takes. But I would also argue that, in a pun totally intended here, losing the plot is a real thing. Art has to have a reason for it to kind of exist in the first place. Its sort of own sentimental value in purpose of itself. And when you just do that many reworks to a storyline like this, I think very seldom does it lead to a much better movie. Whatever problems are inherent with the characters, or the dialogue, or the through lines, basically some of the core elements of the plot, unless you can actually rework those, which essentially is making a new movie, then it's very hard to sort of save something if it doesn't actually have it to begin with. That's why extensive reshoots are always a huge red flag to me, because it's like, well, what are you doing? Are you shooting another movie? Now, with this reported budget of $350 million, that might actually be the case. And as I said, I don't expect there to be any different news about reshoots. It may just come up once a month so people can bag on it and be like, oh, they're doing more reshoots. See, this movie must be a mess. It's just an echo chamber over and over again. And while I think the idea of that might be right, not for the reasons that people are perhaps saying. Now, I will say this. Unfortunately, and as we've seen in the past, there is just a collective voice on the internet that wants to bag on Marvel movies in the first place. And so given a chance to do so with anything, any news, especially like this, they're going to do that. And I understand. And I also know I've been accused of just being a hype man and a shill, even though I no longer work with Disney or Marvel directly like I used to, which frees me up to say exactly what I want, when I want, how I want to say it, which was the original idea for the channel in the first place. I still feel like, and for real, that some Marvel movies now are always just going to have this negative white noise that surrounds them before they come out, without the opportunity of being, you know, not what they were before they went absolutely mainstream and during the Infinity Saga. And as a fandom, I think we might always just have to endure that, whether there's a reason to or not, as we know that there's still, again, like I said, plenty of sites that are just making stuff up wholesale right now. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. And as I will mention one more time, if you're sort of new to everything always, or how it works here, I always cite my sources where I'm re-reporting on this. I always context that source as well. Some of the top sources we use here at the channel have proven track records over the last 3 or 4 years. We give them a lot of reverence. And if it's anonymous, then we tell you to keep it in grain of salt territory. And if it's on Facebook and Instagram at this point, then I would say maybe don't trust it at all. Let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. For the full breakdown and Easter egg video for the double episode finale of Agatha All Along, we announced a brand new PS5 winner, and there will be another one in just a couple of months in December when What If drops. Basically, we give one away for every TV show and movie. Next year, there's going to be a ton. We're also going to do some giveaways in December for the holiday, some smaller prizes. If you want to be entered to win for either or any of the other future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos live in the segment we've got here, so please make sure to stay safe and vigilant really on any platform. And if you should get a spam comment trying to convince you to pay for shipping for a prize, please remember, no content creator, myself included, will ever charge you for shipping. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.